Now, I'm going to be straight up with what I'm going to talk about. So please, if you just join, Reverend Henrietta Norte, bless you so much, woman of God, for joining us. People of God, yesterday, for those of you on social media, I think by now you are aware that something is going on. Okay. Oh, Kwabena Afriye. Very good. Kwabena Afriye says he knows me in Orlando. So, Kwabena Afriye, it will be great for him to be here. He's seen me before. He knows me. Now, I know some of you are aware of what is going on social media from yesterday relating to a prophet who shot his wife dead yesterday in Orlando, Florida. Yesterday in Orlando, Florida. And why am I here? Because I've seen a couple of posts out there that when they send in pictures and everything, I've seen my pictures involved. And so people are calling me, people are sending me messages. Oh, Apostle, do you know this guy? Yes, I know him. I've preached twice for him, this same prophet. Now listen carefully. And this is what I'm telling especially young ministers of today. People who are growing in the faith and have not built a spine of steel, who go about thinking that, quote and unquote, getting popular people to come and preach for them makes them men of God. Men who love you because of the money you give them. Men who just mount your pulpit because they need money from you, but do not care about you beyond the pulpit. That you young guys out there who are so desperate for recognition, we want to identify with certain people, quote and unquote, gurus of the faith, who are called prophets, bishops, generals. You want to desperately identify with them. But when the price of life comes to be paid, I want to assure you, none of these people, these greedy animals at best, none of them will show up in the day of crisis. Now, I think about a year and a half ago, I met or encountered Prophet Sylvester Ofori on Facebook. Sent me a message after he watched some of my videos. And when he saw my video on Facebook, I remember vividly, it was a video where I was seriously speaking against Abraham Ben Moshe, who was talking about the Bible, insulting Jesus Christ. And listen, I was so angry. I believe I blasted him to the best of my knowledge. Where some Facebook bloggers in London, some ladies who really don't know what they are doing with their lives, came up to speak, and they also got their share. That's how he encountered me. And then he contacted me and said, man, how is it that you're so passionate about your faith? And I let him know, you know what? I believe in this Bible. I believe that the word of God is inerrant. I believe the word of God is what it says it is. And we became Facebook friends. And when I went to the US, he invited me to preach for him. I preached twice for him, 5 days in a row. Now, one of the things I realized was, in as much as he wanted to do the things of God, he was almost alone. I told him that, man of God, I am not one of the people who preach for money. 1. 2, I am not coming to preach for you if I don't have any relationship with you. I want to build a relationship of accountability where we can hold each other accountable for the job we are doing. But this Christian work, if you don't have anybody to stand with which you can talk and be open about, there are things you will leave on yourself. It will kill you. So I told him, listen, if it's not about relationship, I can't preach for you. I want to know you beyond the pulpit. I'm not a commercial preacher who preaches because of money. So if it is about just inviting me to preach for you, I can't do that job. We started talking, but friendship and relationship takes time to build. And I remember vividly the Easter, a week to the Easter of 2019, I was in the US to preach for one of the senior ministers' friends I have in North Carolina. And he asked me to do a week program. So I was in Orlando yet for another week. But when I went to Orlando, I saw, and I'm a very curious person. If I'm relating to you, I want to know. I want to find out, what is your psychology? What do you believe in? So I saw a lot of books, different books that I will not recommend for a young Christian to read. I will not recommend for somebody who is not robust about his faith to read. So I told him, as a preacher colleague, I told you that, Osofo, there are certain books, if you are not convicted to a certain degree in your faith, you don't touch them, because words are just more than just print. Words carry spirit. And if you don't take time, some of these books will get you derailed. Not long after I left, I saw Prophet Sylvester in a picture with Bishop Carlton Pearson. For those of you who don't know Bishop Carlton Pearson, Bishop Carlton Pearson used to be one of the very dynamic, charismatic preachers in the United States. In fact, he was the spearheaded man of the Azusa Conference, which was going on in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was on the platform of Bishop Carlton Pearson that men like Dr. Miles Monroe became well-known preachers. It was on the platform of Bishop Carlton Pearson that Bishop T.D. Jakes became T.D. Jakes. Along the line, Bishop Carlton Pearson started to teach a new doctrine called the doctrine of all inclusion. That it was starting to now say that there's no heaven, there's no hell, that the Bible is not the authentic word of God, that we are supposed to worship nature, honor nature. It was a whole lot of, it is a heavy duty thing from a man like Bishop Carlton Pearson, who is a very intelligent, eloquent preacher. He was the best of the charismatic movement. I'm telling you, for those of you who don't know anything about the church, Bishop Carlton Pearson was one of the finest, eloquent, intelligent preachers. He was fluent the English language. The man knows the language back and forth. And he's a skillful master player of the game. Through him, men like T.D. Jakes came into the limelight. Bishop Jakes was nothing. Nobody knew him until Carlton Pearson played 7 minutes of T.D. Jakes' video on his TV program on TBN. That is why he blew out. It was Bishop Carlton Pearson. It was Carlton Pearson who played 7 minutes of Jakes preaching that made Jakes becomes the Jakes of today. Carlton Pearson is no ordinary preacher. Here is this intelligent man who understands Oriental languages, understands English back and forth, Latin. This guy is smart and he's still alive. And Bishop Carlton Pearson is now spearheading a movement and a doctrine called the doctrine of all inclusion, which is very addictive, dangerous, persuasive, and says The Bible is not what it says it is. The presentation of the gospel is being twisted. A good God cannot take people to heaven. Nature, we worship it. It's more like Scientology. It's more like worshiping nature, not Jesus. And even Jesus, he attributes that he's not the person, he's the spirit, it's an idea. I saw this preacher friend of mine. And let me make this point straight. For those of you out there who are quick to distance yourself from a man because he did something bad or found himself in a trouble, you benefited, you loved him when he was benefiting you. And the moment something evil happened, you turn a 360 turn around, and then you begin to speak all your foolish things. Be very careful what you say about a man and a story when you don't even know the full story. Because one of these days, we shall see what will become of you when you are trapped. So, I saw Prophet Sylvester in a picture with Bishop Carlton Pearson. My heart melted. I got scared. I said, because see, when I get around a man, I can tell by encountering and having conversation with you, I can tell the level of your intimacy, I can tell the level of your cognitive power, I can tell, you might even want to sound smart, but I can tell based on weighing you, your power to resist certain things. When I saw him with Bishop Carlton Pearson, I got worried. Then somebody sent me a video, a Facebook link that, Apostle, go and watch. Your friend is teaching some things in his church. He's brought somebody to talk about some things. And because they've seen me preach there and they know what I stand for, I want to watch the video. And they were teaching about all these things Carlton Pearson has been teaching. So I knew there was an influence to a certain level. So that night, I started to send him messages. That, prophet, what are you doing? Why are you destroying your own church? The same thing that you call yourself a prophet in, now you are destroying it. But watch this. I will not vouch and say something for Sylvester, but I'm going to tell you some things that have happened. And especially you young ministers, if you're a young minister on my platform here, I want you to know, don't think your association with certain names will guarantee that you make it in this ministry. Because one of these days, this same association will be the curse that will destroy your life. I'm telling you, Mark, I've been in this game. I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I have decided if it is not Jesus, all of them, and I mean all of them, can go to hell for all I care. Because these are vampires and wicked human beings who are only leeches, who are sucking the blood of people who are vulnerable, who really need love and attention. I saw names, and I can mention names, that went to preach for Sylvester, that today they will all bow out like they don't know him. They went there and took money from that church. Some of them went there to cause a mess. The things he told me when I went to preach for him. When I preach for this guy, you can go watch the videos. I'm not deleting any of them. I preach for Sylvester. I don't apologize. I don't regret it. I had a beautiful relationship with his wife, and I'm going to tell you the last conversations I had with that lady, and God is my witness. When they told me, my heart, based on what I said to the lady, my heart melted. Listen, there were preachers from bishops and whatever, prophet, mega prophet, whatever you call them, who had gone there to do their magic and their foolishness. And I call a spade, because some of them will go into their hotel and be calling the church members. And this guy saw all these things. And at a point, I strongly believe he snapped out of his belief in the Bible based on the encounters he had with some of these junkies in the church. Went there, did all foolish things called ministry. just because of greed for money, greed for recognition, greed for foolishness. So the guy was telling so many things. He told him, Apostle, you are very different. You are very different with all these things you know, yet you still so low. I said, listen, I'm not doing this for show. My purpose for preaching is to build people and put their trust in God. I didn't come here for your money. How much can you give me? So I had conversations with him. So when he started to follow Captain Pearson, man, I sent him long messages, condemned that video, and told the man of God, if you are saying these things that there's error in the Bible, there's no heaven, there's no hell, then you need to take the title of prophet from you. You are not the prophet, you have to take it. I went a step further and I called his senior brother in America. I can mention his name. His senior brother is also a prophet. I called his senior brother and told him, sir, you may not know me in person, but you've seen me preach for your brother. Okay. Onalia Ofori says something. I don't even remember that kind of video, but I went to preach as a man of God. I didn't go, I don't know Sylvester from Adam. He saw me on Facebook and contacted me. And it is my job, it is my life. I preach the truth to everybody. Your money don't scare me. Your money don't change my message. I am a man of God, not a man of the pulpit. That's why I hate preachers who goes to churches just because they want to make money. Shame on these animals who call themselves men and women of God. Stupid people who are called preachers, who goes into people's church with their bad spirits, their occultic connections to destroy young innocent people. And see, there are people in the church who knew me. The only time Prophet Sylvester sees me is when they have picked me from my hotel to come and preach. And when I finish preaching, there's a protocol team that drives me back to the hotel. Finish. So I was trying to get intimate, to know him beyond the pulpit. I am not going to stay like I don't know Sylvester. I preached for him twice, 10 days in total. Poured my heart out because that is what I was born to do. I'm not preaching because of money. I am not hungry. But there were prophets, bishops who had gone ahead of me to that church, made a total mess. Shameless animals, calling people into their toilet. Okay, Kofi Friday said he was my driver. He drove me. I remember. Oh, Kofi, you are the one with the locks. I'm telling you, I love this family, beautiful church. But vampires who do not invest in people's lives, but only go to take from where they have not sown, mess things up. And I deduced that from our conversations. So when those teachings were going on, me, I'm a concerned friend and a brother. So I started calling him. For the last 6 months, I've been calling Prophet Sylvester to get him on the line. He won't pick my call. I was calling church leaders. I called Mama Verna. I called Sister Anne Marie. She never picked my call. It's only Mama Verna I speak to. So the last time I spoke to Barbara, may her soul rest in perfect peace. The last time I spoke to Barbara was the 22nd of August. We spoke for about 2 hours on the phone. That was when I realized that they were not even together. And I was speaking to Barbara, and these are the things I said. God, my heart was broken. My heart. And I said to Barbara, you know what? My fear now, these are the very words I said to Barbara. Barbara, my fear now is not about you. God save his church and his people. I told Barbara, I sense there's a serious problem with Sylvester. But he doesn't talk to anybody, so nobody can help him. He doesn't talk to anybody. But my fear now is, now that you are not there, the problem is going to escalate. And I am afraid one day you will call me and tell me, Apostle, Sylvester has done something terrible. And I told the lady, my prayers are with you. But I pray that Prophet Sylvester will not do something terrible, because he is in a dark place now. He needs help. And I'm trying to call him. I don't know how I'll reach him. I am not coming to the States now. Borders are closed. But I've been calling him for the last 6 months. Sending him messages. Kofi is here. Kofi Friday used to drive me when I go there. And I've been calling him for the last 6 months. He never picks my call. So I'll send message to Mama Vena. I said, Mama Vena, when you see Prophet, tell him I have been calling him. I want to speak to him. It was pressing on me, and I was calling him on a daily basis, sending him messages, hoping he will pick one of my calls. He never did. Never picked my call. So when I spoke to the First Lady Barbara, and she told me they are no more together, I said, I can't persuade you to go back, but I fear that something worse is about to happen. Little did I know that what I was saying was a prophetic word. I just knew the guy was going to do something, but not to his wife. I thought he was going to hurt himself. Then I got the call yesterday that Barbara was shot dead. See, a life is lost, but the hypocrisy of this generation is what bothers me. The stupid statement that some who have gone there and took money from this man. Where were you when he was in his dark place? How hard did you try to help him like you took his money? And I'm speaking to you young ministers out there. I'm speaking to you young ministers out. Who you think when you associate yourself with these so-called big men, you will make it? You are having a pipe dream. All these men who said they are deep prophets, they can see from the sun to the sky, did not see that this guy was in a deep hole, but they could see and go and take money from innocent church members. They can go to that church and take money from innocent church members, abuse their office, manipulate the system. Shameless people who call themselves senior men of God. Senior men of God, my foot. Senior men of God, my foot. Prophet. Prophet of what? What can you see? Nonsense. Brainless criminals. You call yourself prophet of who? Now, the same guy you took his money, you could not stand for him. A life is lost, and God will ask all of us, foolish people. And let any one of you try to mess. When Sylvester started teaching all those things, those Captain Piercy messages, I intentionally sent messages to the preachers I know have preached for him. I sent them messages that how many of you have tried to contact Sylvester? Foolish people. May you rot in your greed. May you die in your greed. Foolish people. Somebody's daughter is dead, and the money you took will rot with you. Nonsense people, you call yourself preachers. Devils in human flesh, you call yourself preachers. Now that Sylvester, from his dark place, has done the unthinkable, you turn your back on him. I say you've never taken any penny from that guy. You went to his church, took money from his church members, manipulated some to see you in hotels. Foolish people, I say. Foolish people. All you know is money. May you rot with your money in your graves. Now, as somebody's daughter is dead, another family has lost a son who might never come out of jail. He's only 35 years. He is a young minister who has never seen the real battles of faith. Yeah. This is what I learned long ago. That's why, Nana Adjei, I'm still here. Never to make any of these ignoramus Mongols as me, my role model. You are crazy. These immoral preachers out there who don't have any sense of morality. All they think about is money and greed and manipulation. They are like gangsters with King James Bible. I sent him numerous messages. I said, Sylvester, there used to be a time you prophesied in the name of God. There used to be a time you cast out demons in the name of God. Where you are drifting now is dark. You are drifting, it's dark. I'm older than you in years. I've been in ministry longer than I can see that there's darkness coming. There's darkness coming. He would pick my call. He will respond to my messages. Spoke 22nd of last month. I spoke to Barbara yesterday. She was killed. Yesterday, she was killed. You are there, preachers. You call yourself preachers. The mess most of you went to cause in that church. The abuses you went there to abuse people. Your fake directions and your criminal minds. Now you see a soul is lost and heaven is watching. Heaven is watching. Heaven is watching. Heaven is watching. Yesterday, my heart, I've sat down with Barbara. I've sat down with Barbara. I spoke on the 22nd with Barbara, and I was encouraging her. That woman of God, I'll pray with you. That's all I can do. I can't do much. But I saw the darkness coming. And I said, I pray that this guy won't do something terrible. I pray that because he will not pick my call. He will not pick my call. I'm calling Sister Vena. I said, Sister Vena, if you ever see him, please tell him I'm calling him. I need to speak to him. I need to speak to him. It doesn't have to take too long before it gets too late. I need to speak to him. Yesterday when I heard the news, I said, Nana, it's over. That's all you can do. And you know what got to me? You know what got to me? People started sending, when people want to send pictures of Sylvester and the wife, they add my picture to it. Programs that I did with him. To hell with all of you. To hell. Yes, I preach for him. If you are trying to do 100 of what I did in that church, we wouldn't have lost these lives. Nonsense. Nonsense. Today, people's faith are being destroyed because of men and women like you, animals with King James Bible, who have no morals, who are morally bankrupt, you go to preach in churches and you take advantage of young girls, people who are desperate and vulnerable. You go there and you make a mess, a mess. Kofi Friday is on the platform. He was driving, he was picking me from my hotel to the church services. And he saying, Apostle, when he came there, your messages were related, but he became so stubborn. I was trying to, I saw the books he was reading. I saw the book. After 25 years in ministry, I know one or two things. After preaching the Bible for 25 years, I know one or two things. I can see. I'm not a prophet. I don't even want to be. Because these things they call prophet out there. They should be thrown into the lion's den for lions to eat them. They are of no use to humanity. They are a cancer to our generation. And lies. People, See, you just heard this is a gunshot. But there are people who are dying without a bullet because of these crazy things who call themselves ministers of the gospel. People are dying. I went there, I saw, the last time I went, I looked at the books and I told him, Prophet, there are certain books you don't want to have anything to do with them. I'm telling you from experience, you don't want to have anything. Concentrate on what God has called you to do. But you can only advise. You can't change anybody. You can only but advise. Go back and look for all the messages I preach. They are still on the internet. I'm not taking anything down. I did the job I had to do as a man of God. I am not hungry for filthy lucre. I am not preaching because I need money. But shame on us who call ourselves the clergy. I went there. I said, man of God, I've been in this game for a very long time. I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. There are certain books you have no business touching. There's too much things in God that you going again to look for a man's opinion. Stick with God. Stick with God. Now if I'm lying, Coffee Fridays here. I preach for them 10 days, 2 different occasions, 5 days in a row. Onalia, that's what I'm saying. They didn't come because of the church. They didn't care about the church. They didn't care about the man. They didn't care. They cared about how much they can make. They saw how beautiful his church auditorium was. So it was an economic point. They came only to make money. They came to me. I'm saying this on social media. They can go and watch it. These are greedy animals who don't have the children of God at heart. They don't. They are greedy human beings who see ministry as a means to an end. They came there talking rubbish. They came there talking rubbish. I know. Look at what has happened. Now Barbara is dead. Sylvester is in custody. What did you achieve? All the money you took, what have you done with it? You're still seeking for money because that's what you're going to do. And for those of you out there writing everything on social media, you see, be very careful about a story you talk about you don't even know. All you know was a gunshot. So that's all you know. These are 2 lives that are lost. These are 2 lives that are lost. These are 2 lives that are lost. And people are acting like they never even knew Sylvester. Those who are having application hanging because they want to go and preach there. But I'm telling you, it can happen to you. Do you know how many people you have killed with your own words? See, so you these young boys out there who God is calling you, and you think that when you invite these big men to your church will grow. Most of them are devils. They step into your church. It is the genesis of your hell. I'm telling you, most of them are devils. You'll be doing all right until you invite them to your church. That's the beginning of your trouble. I'm telling you. Most of them don't represent God. They represent their belly, their greed, and their evil intent in their heart. These evil men, they don't care about the souls. They see young men trying to do well, and then they find a way to enter, and they destroy with their evil spirit, calling themselves men of God. Men of what? Men of what? Men of what? Which God are you talking about? Your blood-sucking God, your vampires of a God. You can always see, but we don't see what your seeing has done. Nonsense things are the things you see. So you didn't see all this thing coming. You didn't see all this thing coming. Now, 27-year-old girl is dead. You never saw this coming. And look at this guy. He's wasted his life. Built a beautiful ministry. All of a sudden, he got crazy. Lost everything. For 6 months, I've been trying to talk to this guy. I can't get him on the line. I don't know even how to get him. Called everybody I know. Sent messages. Sent message to Annie Marie. Sister Annie Marie won't pick my call, can't answer my message. The only one who answers my message is Sister Verna. Those who know the church knows what I'm talking about. We call this Christianity. And the ones who write the most nonsense are the so-called clergy. I pity most of you. I pity most of you because Christianity has become an occupation for you. May you rot with your greed. So next time when you are sending the pictures, send mine as well. Add mine. I want you to add them. Don't take them out. If the 10 days, what I preached, if he listened, we won't be here talking about this. But you know what? What will be, will be. What has happened, has happened. The living can learn from this experience. I am telling you, stay away from these so-called men, you call them fathers. That word, I hate it with passion. Because these are not fathers. These are criminals, wicked human beings who don't fear God. There is no God in them. I'm telling you. All they have is the God of this world, who is a greedy God. That's all they have. A material God. A God who is an opportunistic. A God, a bastardly God at best. Not the God of the Bible. These are man-made gods being worshipped. And when you talk about them and their evil deeds, they say, I'll curse you. Curse your own children. Curse your own wife. Curse that evil life you live. Curse be on yourself. You can't curse nobody. Evil people. All you know is to destroy. You go to good places, and by the time you leave, that place becomes a place of hell. Because hell's winds blows around you. Devils. I have zero respect for them. Me, Nana Adjei, I'm telling you honestly. I have zero respect and tolerance for them. Fathers, my foot. Fathers, my foot. Evil men and women out there calling themselves spiritual leaders. Evil men and women. Evil, destroying innocent lives. You go into people's lives. You can't build them. You break. You leave your filthy scent behind. Listen. For some of us, we are not scared of your nonsense. Oh. You can't do as focal. Evil men and women. And I'll say this till I die. And if I die today, you will die tomorrow. Just be rest assured. But I cry for your children. Most of them useless men. Most of them are even very not intelligent. Criminals are. This thing gets to my nerves. I'm telling you, I'm sick of it. A young lady is dead. All the money you went to take in that church, you return the money. Shameless animals. Listen, I say this and I say it every day. I am not an occupational preacher. I am preaching this gospel of Jesus Christ till I die. I'm preaching this gospel. I see people are sending me messages today. Apostle, see what has happened. What has happened? So what? What should I do? Can I bring Barbara back to life? Did I shoot her? Jimmy no. Obi to be too much. Go and tell those your fathers who went there and destroyed the church. It was a beautiful church until they went there. And they left their evil scent there. They should go and clean it up. God will hold them accountable. I'm telling you. Evil people. Evil people. Evil people calling themselves spiritual fathers. What spiritual fathers? Nonsense. Who made you a father of who? Who made you a father of somebody? What do you have to become a father? That your evil spirit. Destroying innocent lives. Every day you see this, every day you see this, every day you see this. You've never been able to change anything. Waste pipes. So listen, I'm telling you, and you who's listening to me, I'm telling you, not everybody looking at your face wants you to leave. Some of them, they want to use you for their own purposes. Wise up, open your eyes. Let God be the only foundation. Don't put your trust in any man. No man of God deserves the place of God in your life. No pastor, bishop, apostle, prophet. None of us deserve a place in your life. Make God the standard. Read your Bible. Study your word and live with God. Not a man. Men, we will deceive you. We will lie to you. We are not honest. Most of us are criminals at best. Live on God. Trust in God and His word. And stop calling them Papa, Papa. They are not your father. Make God your father. And ignore these people. Ignore them. They don't have anything to offer. Wicked, evil men and women. Put your trust in God. Forget about them. I heard a pub now. Pack your things and leave, okay? I don't know. I'm saying yesterday night, I couldn't even sleep. Yesterday night, I couldn't sleep. I'll tell you, my head was spinning. My head, Jesus. I couldn't sleep yesterday night. I'm thinking about my last conversation with Barbara. I'm thinking about my last conversation with Barbara. I'm thinking. Yes, Jesus Christ. I couldn't sleep at night. I remember clearly the last conversation I had with her, 22nd of August. About these men calling themselves with big titles. Calling themselves with big titles. Calling themselves a big title who don't care about human beings. Greed. If I don't hold my heart, if I don't hold my heart, the things I will say, if I don't hold my heart. An innocent girl just lost her life. Sylvester was in a dark place. So that guy had sunk so deep, he lost it. And everything in me was trying to reach this guy. For the last 6 months, I've been calling his phone. For the last 6 months, I've been calling this guy, trying to reach him. because I was feeling there's something wrong. Something is wrong. I thought something was wrong. So when on the 22nd of August, I spoke to Barbara. I said, Barbara, my fear is this guy is going to do something very dark. That's my fear. And I want to speak to him. I want to speak to him. I want to speak to him. Because it was strong on me that he's going to do something dark. And I said, I need to speak to him. I need to speak to him. I said, Barbara, I need to speak to him before you call me and tell me that he has done something bad. Not knowing it was going to be Barbara. Not knowing I'm going to receive a call and they will say, Apostle, your friend has shot the wife. Yes, I called him friend. I used to preach for him. He's not my enemy. Oh. I called him friend. I preached for him. I stood on his pulpit and preached for him. I'm not going to deny him today because he has done this thing. No, I tried to save the situation, but he won't pick my call. I tried to talk to this man because I was sensing something dark. And so when I spoke to the wife, I said, please, how can I talk to him? How can I talk to him? I need to speak to him before I hear that he has done something very dark. And the wife says, Apostle, you can speak to Mama Vena. I said, I have spoken to Mama Vena. And Mama Vena says, for the last time I spoke to her, Mama Vena had told me for 7 weeks she had not seen Prophet Sylvester. But when she does see him, she will tell him I've been calling him. I said, please do. Even when you see him, I want to speak to him. So if he will not pick my call, I'll call you on your phone. And I want to speak. Because I knew in my spirit something wasn't right. And I said this to Barbara. I said, Barbara, your husband is dealing with something dark, but he can't talk to anybody about it. This is the time he needs to speak to somebody. He needs somebody he can trust and tell. Otherwise, he will do something terrible. He will do something terrible. And I said, Barbara, you will call me and tell me your husband has done something terrible. You will call me that Apostle. Your friend has done something terrible. I didn't know that the word I was speaking about her. My heart, that is the painful part for me. And the most painful part for me is, Nana, did you even pray enough for the girl? Did you pray enough? I didn't know who the trouble was going to happen to, but I knew the man was going to do something terrible. And it was in me. So I wanted to talk to him. I said, please, who can I speak to that can connect me to your husband? Who can I talk to? You know, all these things are happening. All these things are happening. And all you people care about is money. It's money. How you can take advantage of people. And now that this happened, you see them, they turn their back on him like they never knew Sylvester. I know Sylvester. I knew him. I preached for him. So what? I knew him. I preached for him. I'm not going to turn my back on him. I can't do anything for him. But I can't turn my back on him. I knew him, I knew the wife. I sat down with them. We had a dinner together. When he was in a dark place, I could sense it. And I wanted to speak to him for 6 months. I've been trying to talk to this guy. I never got him on the phone. Never. Messages. He never ever picked my call. I never had the chance. I never had a chance. And that's my pain today. And those of you who are sharing the news, when they share the news, then they add my picture. No, I give you permission. You can even add my videos. I'm not one of the people who turn away because people are in their dark places. So, no. Sylvester was never my enemy. I disagreed with him joining Carlton Pearson and following that crazy doctrine. I told him, I sent him long messages that Sylvester, that journey is a dark journey. But you can take the horse to the riverside. You can't force the horse to drink. I'm telling you, there are people waiting for your dark day to come so they'll post it. The day your dark day will come, you see how they share it on Facebook. If you are wise, you learn from the downfall of others. Today, he's lost his ministry, lost his life, lost everything. I don't know how he will survive even in prison. I'm wondering what he's hearing in his ears. He's hearing the shots of the gun, bullets. I don't know what that lady said before she died. He will be hearing all these messages in his ears. I was trying everything. I'm making calls. See, I am not somebody who calls somebody twice, thrice. No, I leave you. But it was a burden on me. I call those I know who are close. I hope they will get. They say, Apostle, Mama Vena told my apostle, for 7 weeks I have not seen Prophet Sylvester. 7 weeks. He's not stepped a foot in the church. So I knew there was something wrong. I knew. I said, please, can I speak to him? I need to speak to him. I just need one phone call with this guy. I needed only one phone call with this guy. All I needed was one phone call. I couldn't get it. For 6 months. It breaks my heart that today the only friends you have in ministry is when they can get money from you. That's when they are your friends. Young preachers think. You think bringing those big men will grow your church. I'm telling you, it is the genesis of your downfall. Stop inviting them. They don't care about you. When they leave your church begins to dip. I'm telling you the truth.